So today we put up this post, me as an Auston Holleman. Now, we know in the United States, it is not good for a man to have standards. You know that, right? You know as a women can have standards, but the minute a man has a certain standard, and standards are not looks, right? That is part of it, but it's not just looks. Because I have a standard, it's against the law, at least in the United States. But we have some people saying instantly, they say, "Who is this texting me? Texting me that bullshit." They're saying, "Oh, he's talking about African women."
Hi guys. So Auston Holleman put out this tweet yesterday morning. It says, after looking at some photos of women I have dated in Brazil, about 80% of the women in my recent content are way below my standards. Of course, the recent women he's been dating, he's been putting on his channel are African women. So here he thinks that the African women were a downgrade from Brazilian women. And he is so proud of this degrading, this offensive, this anti-black women tweets that he decided to post it on his community page on YouTube, but he didn't just post it on his community page. He actually did a rambling live. He was all over the place, basically doubling down. He doubled down. He said that he stands by what he says, and he tried to say that when he meant recent, it's including Asian women and African women.
Number two, I have been to more than African countries since I left Brazil. Let's go. We have the Philippines, we have Vietnam, we have Thailand, Cambodia, and then the other six are African countries. And somebody says, well, recent videos have been in Accra. Well, then what makes you Accra is one city in a huge continent of Africa. So that you think one city represents the entire Africa. Let's go for that. But by recent videos, and that's why I brought up Brazil, because what I'm saying is since Brazil, I noticed it seems like, remember I said content. It seems like since Brazil, I've been throwing anybody on the channel.
And I'm like, the recent ones you have always been a black African women, because you have been in Africa for almost 6 months now. So the recent past is Africa. It is not Asia. And to be honest, in Asia, this guy was not able to get girls, so he didn't have a lot of girls on his show. So the only one he had was Kate. So he's not talking about Asian women. And if he wanted to include Asian women, he could have worded this post by saying, after looking at some photos of women I have dated in Brazil and comparing them to the women I have been dating since I was unceremoniously, embarrassingly chased out of Brazil, the women I have dated since Brazil have been below my standards. He could have said that, right? English is his first language. So if he wanted to make it clear that he was talking about both Asian and African women, this would not have been the way he would have worded it. So no, he meant African women. And he said something like, he said, well, how could I be talking about African women when I'm in Africa? You guys think that I would be bashing African women in Africa while I'm in Africa?
They're saying, oh, he's talking about African women. Really? Really? So you think I'm in Africa talking shit about it? What sense would that make? Number one.
I'm like, yes. It's not thinking because we have seen you doing that. I mean, you were saying this about Zambian women while you were in Africa.
Y'all get the whole Zambia situation. There wasn't a lot of beautiful women in Zambia like that.
You were in Kenya when you said that. So, yeah, Zambian women are. Kenya is in Africa. So you were not even bashing 80% of Zambian women, in fact, then. You were actually saying that 100% of Zambian women were ugly. And you were saying that in Africa. Because Kenya is Africa. I mean, I know this guy keeps on saying that, Kenya is Brazil, so he might think, Kenya really is not in Africa. But Kenya is in Africa, and yes, you do say offensive things about African women while you are in Africa. I mean, at least when you were bashing Zambian women, you actually waited until you left the country to call all of them ugly. But you are in Ghana bashing Ghanaian women, calling them materialistic, calling them stuck up, even bashing the men. So yeah, you do. So yeah, you do attack African while you are still in Africa. And in fact, in the live, you try to imply there are some kind of socially incompetent or something. So yeah, you actually are right now. I mean, I think right now he's in Senegal, but the last few days you were in Ghana, uh, not just bashing the Ghanaian women, even the men. You usually don't even bash the men, but you were bashing the men too. And you are always talking about how Africans are disgusting when we are eating. And you say that while in Africa. So yes, you would bash Africans in Africa. We have seen you doing it. And of course, none of us, at least the ones that have been critically analyzing his videos, are surprised that this guy believes black women were below his standards, that he believes, he didn't just say they were below his standards. He compared them to non-white women, non-black women, and he said that compared to the non-black women, the black women were below his standards. And none of us are surprised that this colorist, this anti-black woman person, misogynist, would consider black women a downgrade from Brazilian women. This guy's hatred for black women has been on display for ever since he came into the arena. So we have seen how much he despised black women. We have seen him that he doesn't find beauty in blackness. So we are not surprised that he would tweet this, and he would not only tweet it, post it on his community wall, and then go on live, on some tangential live, to say that yes, African women were downgrade from Brazilian women. And I'm not surprised, like I said, this guy is colorist. And colorism comes from hating blackness. When a person is colorist, they are trying to go as far as possible from blackness without really going, doing the next step, which is, only dating non-black women. So he is a colorist, and you cannot be a colorist without hating blackness. And so it's not surprised that this guy looks down on black women. He thinks they were a downgrade. When he brought Jane, which was probably, Jane is this girl. She is probably the first, because the African women he's dating in Africa are light. They are not dark skin, but they are not really light skin, right? Not by American standard. But she was darker than the other African girls that he dated. Second, the way he treated her, I have made a video of it. It was obvious that he almost felt like he was doing her a favor. You get the impression that he feels that he was doing her a favor by dating her. I mean, on the first video he had, the first video where he introduced us to her. The title was "My Date with a Brown-Skinned Kenyan Woman." He doesn't do that when he didn't do that when he went out with the lighter skinned Kenyan women, because this guy is a colorist, and colorists cannot see beyond the skin tone of a black woman. Colorists do not see beauty in dark skinned black women, and the colorists probably don't even see beauty in blackness, and so we should not be surprised. And you know what, one thing I want to say, I have been very clear that there should never be a separation between black American women and non-black American black women, because whatever is said about them will eventually be said about us. And his tweet, his post, a community post, is just a proof of that. I posted this, and I actually have written a Medium post, with the same general idea. What people dark skinned, what colorists, anti-black women, people like Auston Holleman hate in the black American women, they would hate it in the black African woman. What they hate in the black American girl, they will hate in the black African girl. So there is no reason. That's why when they're saying that they don't like black American women because the black American women are masculine, they're not fit for friendly feminine. When you go deep, you would realize the reason they find the black American women not to be the reason they find black American women to be masculine. The reason they think black American women are not fit, feminine, and friendly is because of their blackness. It's not because of there is something behavior wise. When you go deep, because you would find them dating a non-black woman who's not fit, who's not friendly, who's not feminine. Because what these men find not attractive in the black American woman is not her behavior. It's not her attitude. They are always talking about attitude, but it's not attitude. What they find to be ugly, to be not attractive, is the black American woman's blackness. And that blackness, I have said this over and over, exists in Africa. Black African women possess the same blackness that black American women possess, and they are going to hate you because these men, these colorist men, these anti-black women misogynists, do not like the blackness of black women, and it doesn't matter where that black woman is located. So I say this because I see more black African women supporting Auston under his comment section than I see Black American women. I rarely see Black American women supporting this disgusting colorist man, because Black American women understand that these men hate blackness. But there are some Black African women who believe that the thing this men hate, the thing that forces these men to leave America, is the Americanness of Black American women. It's the attitude of Black American women. When it's not, it's not. Because like I said, when whatever they claim Black American women behave, when whatever they claim that they hate when Black American women do it, you will see them appreciate it when non-Black women do it. So yeah, it is very important for us African women to realize that any Black man who hates Black American women would also sooner or later hate Black African women. And can I be honest though? When I was watching the live, I mean, it was rambling, and like his eyes, they looked so dead. Like, and I truly believe that Ghana has done something to him. I actually don't even think it is the Ghanaian women he hates. I think being around Ghanaian men probably makes him insecure. And I think it has everything to do with his height. I truly believe that, because Auston is, I was listening to this live on Peso, on Peso's channel, and a guy who has made Auston, a guy who got a haircut from Auston, said, Auston, when you meet him in person, he looks like a child almost. He is like 5'7", barely 5'7", barely maybe 5'8", and skinny. And I think, that kind of physique is not, that kind of physique is probably okay in East Africa, because in East Africa, a lot of us are skinny and short, right? I mean, this couple, American couple, who have a YouTube channel where the the wife was telling this story about, how she went to a hospital in Tanzania and she lost her husband. So she was asking, the employees there if they have seen her husband, and they're like, yeah, I think I have the tall guy, the tall American guy. And she's like, no, my husband is not tall, because I think her husband is like 5'8" or something. And she's like, no, because in America they were describing him as if he was like some kind of giant. And she's like, no, that's not my husband. But then they will describe his, what he was wearing. And she's like, yeah, that's him. But why are you calling my husband, a tall guy when he's not really tall? But she eventually realized that East Africans are so short that, 5'8", 5'9", guys with that height would be considered like almost, giants. And I mean, I'm 5'5", and I was considered one of the tall girls in my school when I was in college in Ethiopia. So I think in East Africa he fit. He was, his height was not a disadvantage. But I think he went to West Africa, where the people tend to be taller. And I think that insecurity, probably the same insecurity he felt here in America, because his height probably is a disadvantage here in America. So I think that insecurity came back when he is surrounded by Black guys who are much taller than him. Because I brought that up because he was talking about his shoe size. He only mentioned it, but he didn't elaborate. And I'm like, why are you bringing shoe size? And he mentioned it in relation to Ghanaians mentioning his shoe size. And I'm like, okay, that is, strange. And I mean, this is me I guess psychoanalyzing him. I hope not, but I truly believe that this recent acting out, attacking Ghanaian women is probably coming from his insecurity, his inferiority complex coming back, because he is surrounded by tall black men. Anyways, let me know what you think. Thank you. Bye bye.